And while it's starting, I'm going to just take a quick moment and talk about the rules for public comment. And not that I'm overly concerned about it tonight, everybody's on. But for public comment this evening, we're taking public comment one of 4 ways. You could have dropped off a comment at the drop box, the blue box out front of the township building at the main entrance, where you come in to go into the library. There's a blue box right out in front before you come up the stairs off to the right-hand side. We take public comment there before every meeting, and it is checked. You can also raise your hand during the meeting or by phone. There's also an option to raise your hand and make public comment at the appropriate time. And if somebody chooses, they can make public comment by going to publiccomment@newtowntownship.org. Again, that's public comment, all one word, @newtowntownship.org. And we will be monitoring that as well during the meeting for taking public comment. Those are the ways that we're taking public comment. And Wade, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I would suggest that we let George introduce William O'Hara.
Yes.
Because he knows what William's up to. And so he's one of our scouts in the area. And I'll let George take over.
Sure. Yeah. Very briefly, welcome to William. William's a Eagle Scout candidate from the Broomall Troop, and he had reached out to the township a number of months ago and had asked about the possibility of doing an Eagle project that would benefit the township. And I threw a few ideas out to him that he could go back and talk to folks. And the idea he came back with, we had recently been, Linda McIsaac had been talking about bluebird boxes and had gotten a handful of bluebird boxes that got put up in the Meadow Preserve. And so I threw that out to William as a consideration, and he took it, and that's kind of what he was looking to do. So as I introduce him and he talks about it, Steve had also let the Environmental Advisory Council know about this project because it would probably be a joint committee venture with William, because the EAC has the more of the focus on bird matters and things like that, whereas Park and Rec would be the physical places where it might go. So again, I think I've probably talked too much. I'm going to let William talk about his project, but that's kind of the background. And William, welcome.
William, we're not hearing you. You may look at your volume on your mic. Sometimes on the keyboard up at the top, there's some volume controls for the mic itself. Yes, if you want to do that, feel free, and I'll let you in again, okay?
Could you imagine the pressure this poor kid is feeling?
I know, I felt bad for him.
I felt so bad for him. So let's be extra nice, Peter.
Sheila, you don't need to, be like my mom here.
I know, Peter, I'm just joking, buddy. Relax.
I know you are. No, I deserve every bit of what you give me. I will be, my heart goes out to kids these days. I can't imagine being a student and doing, cyber school. I just,
yes.
I can't imagine being a teacher and doing that. So
Hello?
I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be kind. All right.
Yes. Hello. I am William. I'm a Boy Scout. I'm a Life Scout at Troop 122. And I'm a freshman at Markle Newtown High School. So, yeah, Mr. Shretz, he had recommended to me that bluebird boxes would be a really good idea for an Eagle Scout project. So what I was starting to do, I started to research how much it would cost. We came up with me and my dad came up with an estimate of like $250, which I can cover. I'm either going to do fundraising with my Boy Scout troop, or I'm just going to pay for it and then make it up later. But what our plan was, we were going to get together, I think about like 6 or 7 scouts. We were going to build these in 1 to 2 days, and then we were going to deliver them to some place where the township would decide. And then hopefully they could hang them up for wherever they need to go. And then as for like building them, like the process, we'd make sure obviously social distancing, masks. The Boy Scouts of America actually has guidelines for COVID, so we printed those out. We're gonna have everybody fill out a form to make sure that everybody's like safe and ready to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've really, William, you've really researched this well. Thank you for thank you for your efforts.
Yeah, thank you guys for your time.
So William, these are bluebird boxes we're talking about?
Yeah, bluebird boxes or bluebird houses.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. I think we have room at Meadow Preserve and some of the other parks as well. How many are there going to be? How many boxes will there be?
Oh, that's what I forgot. Yeah, so we're thinking about building 10 boxes.
10, okay. Great.
So William, I'm going to get a email address for one other person in the township. Her name is Janet Curvanis.
Okay.
She's very into our bird watching. And I'm probably going to give it to Mr. Sheritz and have him send it to you, because I think he's got your contact information.
Yeah.
And so what Janet's going to tell you is kind of where we think we can put these boxes, so that we know, so that we can make sure that we can put the 10 up that you're going to build, that we have good places for them. And so we're going to do that. Just so everybody knows, what this is a great project. And what, having been an Eagle Scout, I'm an Eagle Scout, his project, the big part about this project isn't just that he's doing community service, is the fact that he's leading other people in the process of doing this community service. And that's why he has other scouts that are helping him. And that's why he's gone through and done all the work. And he is doing a great job, I can tell. So that's really great. And I'm excited to see this project.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see the bluebird boxes. It's going to be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now,
Thank you.
are
Thank
you
you,
going to be supplying like the mounting hardware and everything like that, or is it the township would do that part?
So I think the township would do that part, if that was okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just work with George so that we make sure that we have everything we need. So we want to make sure they get up.
Yeah.
Mr. Sheritz, I should say. That's how you refer to him. So.
Yeah, William, I'll be working with you on all the details for it.
Okay.
So George, do you want any help from the committee installing them?
So, and Wade, I would say yes. I think that it will be a great project for everybody at that point. I'll see whether the scouts are going to have other involvement after they build them or not.
Okay.
That's kind of their call. One of the things after we bring Janet Curvanis into the loop, there'll be some spaces that will be recommended for them. And I think it's appropriate for Park and Rec to kind of be part of that discussion too. Just, yes, we think we agree with that recommendation on the locations.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the great things about this project is it kind of crosses over 2 of our committees. So we just want to make sure everybody's working on the same page.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, William.
Thank you, William.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks,
Thank
William.
you.
We'll be reaching out to you.
Good work.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Okay.
So William, you can stay on if you want, but you can also leave the meeting if you got homework to do and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you guys mind if I stay actually?
Yep. You're more than welcome for you to stay. We'll be glad to have you.
Yeah,
Thank
hold
you.
on tight.
William,
if
I've got a great idea about box boxes. So if you can get your friends to do this one, they'll be cool.
Mhm.
So if I can for just another moment, Wade,
Sure.
I've invited Nick Schlegel to join us. Nick is on. Nick is an employee of the township. He is going to be assisting with making sure that your agenda gets updated on the website. He also will be helping to make sure helping anybody with the committee get in and out of the areas that are related to getting on our agenda and minutes software or web-based program. So Nick is going to be the ones doing that. I think you've been used to working with Suzanne, but going forward, Nick is going to take that on. So I've invited Nick to join us tonight, give a chance for you to get to know who he is, but also it gives him a chance to actually watch a meeting happen, since he's the one who's kind of trying to make sure that we set the agendas up properly.
Welcome, Nick. We've been looking forward to you joining us.
Good to be here.
Will you help us with social media as well, or?
Nick will probably not necessarily be helping with social media, but he may be the contact that you would give everything to. We're
Okay.
hoping to have somebody who will be focusing on social media in the township, and that would become their responsibility.
Oh, great.
I would say we don't have on the agenda a call to order and a roll call. So Wade, you may want to go ahead and do that before we get too far down.
I guess we'll do a roll call. Peter Lake,
Here.
Bill Potzik,
Yeah, I'm here.
myself is here. Who else do we have? We
I
already
think
said
Jonathan. is your
Jonathan.
other-
Sorry. Jonathan,
here.
you're here?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. And we said Caitlin was absent tonight.
Yep.
Okay. And I guess we call the meeting to order. And we do have another special presentation. Paul Seligson contacted us about the farmer's market. It's going to be at St. Albans Church. And he's asking for a park and rec volunteer for 4 different dates. I think Sheila has the presentation PowerPoint. If you can share her screen.
All right, I will stop sharing and then Sheila can.
You want me to talk or Sheila, or are we waiting for you to speak?
Sheila has the presentation, but
So while she's
Before you start, Paul, Sheila, for sharing the presentation, there's a green area at the bottom of your screen that says share screen. You should be able to click on that and then click on what it is that you want to share with us. Okay, go ahead, Paul.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everybody. So I'm a co-chair of a new committee, which is called Gather in the Circle. And this was really started by Linda McIsaac, and then she left town for 4 or 5 years. She'll be coming back eventually. But in the meantime, Pam Purser and I are taking over her committee, or trying to lead it, so to speak. And Pam Purser actually is the lead person for the farmers market. And the farmers market is going to meet the second Thursday of the month. So they're going to have a meeting a week from today. And then I think it's March 11th and whenever, then it's in April and then May. And then it goes live. They're hoping to be live by June. This is going to be at 7 o'clock at night. And they're asking desperately, they would like to have a person other than myself as the liaison for Parks and Recreation. And this is really so that Parks and Recreation would know firsthand what's being talked about, what's being planned, what's being considered in the rollout, so that this doesn't come as a surprise to any of the committees. EAC has a person, Newtown Square and Bloom has a person, and it would be very fitting if Parks and Recreation could have a person too. Oh, and Sheila, I see your dates. Wonderful. Okay, Sheila, you talk.
So are you asking
Sheila,
for
you're-
one person, Paul?
We are asking for a person.
For one person, or do you want 4 people doing 4 different?
So what, on days when we have the farmer's market itself, we're going to need, I think, 2 to 4 volunteers. And remember, I don't know if you remember, but about a year ago, I asked if you guys would be willing, each one of you, that would be on a rotating basis. That should not be one person is always up and somebody is never up. It would be nice if we could get a sort of a rotating schedule of people, but we're not there yet. That starts in June and that would run until September or October. What we're looking for right now is members to join a Zoom meeting. This is a Zoom meeting and it would start at 7 o'clock at night, end at 8. And it would be on the dates that Sheila has put up, which is very nice. Thursday, February 11th, March 11th, April 8th, May 13th. So we're open to anybody that nominations are open, or is there anybody that would like to volunteer, or, we'd love for you to raise your hand.
I can volunteer.
Okay, Jonathan.
That would be, yeah, Jonathan. That would be to attend these Zoom meetings and then report to the committee.
Correct. And actually, it's very fitting that you do it because both Sheila and I are sort of ex officio. We're not, we enjoy Parks and Rec, but we're not real members. So,
Right.
And you are, Jonathan. So we accept. I asked, you answered, and we accept.
Okay. Will I get on an email distribution for the
will.
Zoom?
Yeah. I'm gonna send to Pam Purser tomorrow your particulars, and you're gonna start getting emails from her.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Paul,
Jonathan.
just real
Thank you.
quick.
Yep.
Paul, just real quick.
Yes.
Are you counting on the township Zoom account for those meetings? I just need to know so we're scheduling.
You know what? We haven't gotten that far.
I say yes, Paul. Yes.
So if you are, I just need to know so that I can plan for somebody to be available to make sure the meeting gets started.
I mean, it's 7 o'clock at night. Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure, but I'm asking. And if you need the help, we'll provide it. We'll just have to figure out who's going to start it.
You know what? I want to get back to you, Steve. That's a very generous offer. But this is really not my, this committee itself is being led by Pam, and
Yep.
she may have an idea, or she may have Zoom in her bag of tricks.
Yep, just let me know so that I just don't want the assumption to be that we're doing it if we haven't got the communication. So I just want to make sure we're clear.
Got it. I will ask her tomorrow. I'll let you know either way tomorrow.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the offer. That's it, Wade.
Thank you, Paul. All right, so I guess that's it. I just wanted to point out that I think Bill Potzik is on a commercial for Dunwoody. I don't know if anybody's seen him, but is that true, Bill? Is it you?
I'm here.
Is that you I see on the commercial for Dunwoody?
On the
Next to
what?
There's a commercial for Dunwoody,
Yes.
and you're on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's my new career.
So we have a movie star.
Hey, guys, we do have a couple things to go over from EAC to coordinate Arbor Day. And that is looking at, we still have the tentative date of April 24th, and that's all contingent upon George and the nursery. And so the final date will be happening, we'll confirm it in March with EAC and Parks and Rec, but we just wanted to make sure that Parks, you guys already had said you'd be on board with that. Everything was waiting about COVID and how things are going, but we're not doing with the big group of school kids. We did thank them again this year and asked them to continue with us for next year, but we're not going to do as large of a project, but we're hoping to still do something. And the strategy was that we would use up some of George's inventory before he was going to, if he was going to order new trees from PHS. But Steve did bring up an interesting point that if we put any trees in right now, they're not part of our MS4 plan. So it's something for us to consider. And that was the one item from EAC. The second item is that EAC is rolling out a resolution of Ready for 100, and it just impacts Parks and Rec because it's talking about recyclable energies, and it's something that EAC is supporting and asking the supervisors to be aware of and to support. So that's just something for you guys to be aware of. Another thing is Cindy Mahalo did do a presentation on the Greer Park dam removal at DCV&A over the weekend, and she did an excellent job and received great accolades from people with regard to the decision from the township. Also, DCV&A is doing their stream cleanup on April 10th, and they are already targeting Brookside. It would be great if we could get support for Greer as well. And another thing that was mentioned at the DCVA is something I thought George would really be excited about. It's the Keep PA Beautiful campaign, and it allows you to get state-sponsored surveillance security kits. What they do is through a grant, you can get 3 cameras, which have wireless and internet access. The grants pay for the kit, for support and training, and it allows you to have areas where previous dumping has occurred for you to capture those photographs of the perpetrator of the dump, and it allows you to take action against them. And it's a great opportunity for us to look into that. And these grants are available from the state. And again, it's called the Keep PA Beautiful campaign. And it's a great surveillance kit and camera security. And as I said, everything is paid for by the state, and you do get grants. So that's something that DCVA mentioned that I thought you guys would really be interested in. And the only thing else is, Wade, the bats. You would ask me to talk about the bats. You want
Yeah,
me to
well,
do that?
it's on the agenda. Yes.
Okay. Okay, great.
Okay. All right, so Greer Park Master Plan, we met just before this meeting, actually, to review a few concepts. And we are going to vote on one of 2 in the next few days. So there should be something in the public domain, I guess, within a month or so. As soon as possible, we'll have something out. The Bocce Ball Court, I was supposed to meet with Bruce Killen, and he never, or the snow hit, and he couldn't make it. So we're going to meet sooner or later to review the Bocce Ball spot. It looks like there's, if it is 55 foot by 146 feet, there's plenty of room to fit both Bocce Ball courts and the horseshoe pits there, and have some extra room left over for a cabinet if we need that. The paint scheme for the basketball court. So I think that they're going to have something available to us soon. I don't think it's going to be anything too dramatic or controversial. They're well aware of the need to have it toned down. And we have discussed putting all of the regulation lines on the court. George has a salesman who's going to place the lines on the court prior to the kids painting the mural, and then he'll touch up those regulation lines after the mural's painted. So they'll still be able to play regulation basketball with all the lines in place. Does anyone have any questions on either one of those or comments? Or all right, and then the paint scheme at the bathroom at Drexel Lodge Park. So she's reached out to all the other elementary art school teachers and principals. So there's a lot of kids involved with this now. I didn't realize it was going to become as big as it has. So I don't know that we're going to be able to fit as many, that many faces on one wall. So I was hoping that maybe we could take a look at the whole building, I don't know if that's going to become an eyesore at that point or not. I don't know how big these faces are going to be. It's going to be like one singular line of a silhouette, like a John Lennon kind of, or Pablo Picasso kind of style. But I don't think they're going to be that big. I don't think they're going to be like an actual size. They've gone through an exercise where they've done these portraits anyway, and they're looking for applications. So we just happen to be at the right time, at the right spot to get this done. So I don't know what the thoughts are of the committee or the township of using the whole building. Like I said, it might become an eyesore.
If we can do it and keep it like some of the things that I saw as your samples, I don't think it's a problem. I think your samples kind of showed, I think it could look good if it's like the samples that you showed.
Okay. And then we will do some presentation to the committee first and then to the Board of Supervisors to make sure everybody's on board.
Yeah.
Okay.
For my part, I like the idea.
And then the water bottle filling station, we're going to hold off on that until after COVID restrictions are lifted a little bit for obvious reasons. Can you scroll up a little? I'm sorry.
Trying to catch up to you.
I think you're too far. I think the bat boxes were next, maybe.
Yeah, that's right in the top of the screen, right?
Okay. Yes. So right now, Sheila, do you have a presentation on the bat boxes?
Yep.
Okay. I guess we can share with Sheila.
Oh, okay. You can share.
All right. All right. Okay, guys. First of all, I thought it was really funny because I hated bats. And it's kind of a freaky thing to be checking out. But actually, it's really kind of cool. And what we're looking at is the bat boxes. And Wade had asked me to look at location and the logistics of bats and all the other things. And we kind of thought is, okay, well, we know we need the boxes, but like, why really should we care about the boxes? And it's really important that we understand that bats are misunderstood, that they're losing their habitat around the world. They're a critical part of our biodiversity. And I did not know that there's 1,400 species of them. And it was really important because although we think of, the pretty butterflies and the birds and the bees and all that of pollinators, actually bats do an incredible job at their pollination. And if you ever drink tequila, you have to thank a bat because they're the ones who pollinate the agave plant. So anyone that drinks tequila, thank the bats. They also do an incredible job. I did not know this either, that bats actually talk more than me. They attempt to make 17 attempts a minute to eat insects and other arthropods. So on an average night, a bat will eat 4,000 mosquitoes per night, which is pretty cool. But what we're also finding is with all of our neighbors and stuff, that they're putting out these mosquito guards and things that are actually killing the pesticides are killing our bats. And in addition, predators are attacking the bats. So that's something to be concerned about. But why this is important to us is that 1 million bats lost in the Northeast will take away between 660 to 1,300 metric tons of food from our state. So that's a really important part. So if you ever eat bananas, avocados, or mangoes, bats help pollinate those food. In addition, 80 medicines come from the plants that bats pollinate. So it's really important, but they also are helpful in their scientific developments in helping navigational aids for blind and in the advancement of vaccines. And bats did not cause COVID. People caused COVID when they mixed with the bats. But one thing we thought was really cool about Greer Park, it's a possibility that we have an endangered species, the Indiana bat down there. So that's something to consider. So what we need to do is this. We got to get these bat boxes up. But these bat boxes need to be in an area of 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight. And they need to be mounted on either a pole, a wooden post, a pivot pole, or the side of a building or the eaves of the house. And the reason being is the bats need 50 to 20 feet for the bats to drop from the box And that's how they take flight. They cannot just, start wanking away. They need to drop and then begin their descent. And that's why we also need to make sure that we don't set them up near other tree branches, because that's where their predators will attack. Their baby bats are called pups, so we have to protect the pups. And it's not advisable to mount the boxes on trees because of the gliding effect, but bats will live in dead trees, especially if they're in sunny locations. So that's called a snag of our dead tree, so it's really important. And they also want us to locate the boxes near a water source, so parks are great, and they have to be painted black or brown. And it's really important to double mount the boxes for added warmth. And there's sometimes even triple mounts. So at least a double mount. And we need to keep hawks, owls, snakes, cats, and people away from the bat boxes. So this is what an ideal bat box will look like at the parks. And it looks really kind of cool. There's some costs associated with the poles. But Wade, where are you getting the bat boxes from?
George has them already.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
we actually have them. There was a similar to what William is doing with the Bluebird boxes. A few years ago, there was a scout who built, and Paul was involved with that too.
Okay.
A scout had built, I think it's about 10 bat boxes that we have. They're painted brown. It's like a dark brown.
Right.
And
Are they
really,
rough
they were just
inside?
waiting for somebody
Yeah.
to identify where to go.
Yeah,
Michael
are
Ball
they
was
roughed?
going to, but he never did.
Are they roughed in edges inside? Apparently they need to have a tight quarters, but there needs to be a little bit of roughness to simulate what the tree of the bark is like. So that'd be
Yeah.
great. And if we can, and again, why we're doing this is, look, bats are helping us and now we need to help them, between the fruits and the things. I put up all the little medicines. More importantly, if we stay out of caves, we can help the bats. But and then there's more information for you to. So William, if you're still on the call, make sure your buddies make more bat boxes for us because we need more. All right. So
I actually, one of the scouts in my troop, I think 2 months ago, he set up 3 bat boxes in one of the local parks as his Eagle project.
Awesome.
guys, I think it's real. Listen, I don't even like bats, and now I'm actually impressed by them because the stuff they do is incredible. So there you go. We all learned something about bats today, so we can stop sharing that one.
So our goal was to kind of try and find a location, and I think we had agreed on the location at Brookside, right off of Bryn Mawr, north of the creek, because it's a water source. It's not, there's people don't go back there, but we can't use trees. Sheila, is that what you're saying?
They're recommending that you don't use the trees, and they really suggest the poles. And the reason being is the predators sit in the trees and they attack them, and they also need to drop and fall to the ground. So if there's other branches that would grow in a tree, it stops the drop and it could harm them. So they recommend, if you're doing bat boxes, to do it that way. And that's just the way that the bat boxes are. Now, naturally, bats do hibernate and do this within the trees. But what they're saying is that they're so vulnerable now that we're trying to do everything to make sure that we don't set them up for predators. So if we're putting them in a sunny location, they really need sunny location as well. So we just really need to get those poles and get them up and, get them in the sun and get them away from other branches and keep them from being vulnerable.
Okay, so what do we do with getting poles now, George, then, if that's the case? Is that?
Yeah, so we don't have poles with these. I mean, I think they were
Right.
probably designed a few years ago, so I think they intended them to go on trees, but that's not the end of the world. I mean, we could just adapt the back of it to attach to a pole. We'll have to get poles, but it's still, the key is where do we want to put them? If we identify the locations, I think getting poles and adapting the boxes to go on a pole is not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Sheila, do you want to
Yep.
take that on and define
Yep.
the spots with EAC?
And
okay.
I think what we can do is between Greer and Brookside, divide the 10 right there. So, I mean, that's not a problem. And George is going to get back to me on the vines cutting at Brookside. So we'll be able to kind of target those spots as well, George.
Right on.
But I want to kind of stay away from Greer unless we're in the rear of the park, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then the as far as donations go, do I have this correct, Steve? They can donate it and just put it in the subject line if they want to target a specific project.
Yeah, I need to follow up on the IRS piece, but yes.
Okay. All right. And then the May concert, Dukes of Destiny has actually reached out to us and is interested in doing the concert, but I don't know that we're going to be there yet. What are your thoughts, Steve?
How many people do you normally have show up for the concerts?
It's 70 to 100.
Yeah.
I would expect less, because of this.
Yeah. I think there's two things I would look at. One is, would they be open to doing some kind of maybe a virtual piece with it that we could look at trying to do something? I'm trying to think of, being creative, that, maybe we let them set up, and we do, figure out how to do some backdrops from pictures of our park, and then let them actually be set up someplace that we could record it, put it out, and do like just do like a Zoom meeting where they would be on and doing it. The other thought, maybe what we do is limit those that could be in attendance at the park, and then others could join in by doing it virtually.
Okay.
The only thing I'm trying to figure out, if we do it at the park, doing the recording becomes much more difficult and doing it well.
Okay. So I think maybe it's best if we just tell them, we really want you. We're just not positive yet, and then we'll let them know in a month. Just keep the date open. If something comes up, they can take it. Or give us first right of refusal.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a good way to go.
All right.
Or do you guys want to consider a later date?
I'm hearing, I got to tell you, I'm hearing all over the world about how long, and I should say all over the calendar, about when we think that we're going to be at enough people vaccinated to start having, more people together. And, I'm hearing that it could be at least September. So that would be a lot later date if we looked at it that way.
So Wade, do you think we should we offer them either the Zoom and limited attendance in May, or do you want to come in September and have a real concert in the park? So Dukes of Destiny, they make a music that you want to dance to. And,
yes.
And they, you want people to be able to, there's that piece of it where the people have to feel the energy of the music and each other and sort of get off on it. And I just don't know if that's going to happen in a Zoom situation.
Yeah. So maybe September might be the better option.
And if you want, I don't mind proposing both ideas and seeing where they come down. They may say we are booked in September, we have May free, and then we say, well, we're not really sure about May, but this is our thoughts, and we leave it kind of up in the air.
What were you going to say, Steve?
I said, I wish I had a better way. I wish I had better answers for you. I just don't.
No, I understand. I get that.
All right. So I just let them know that, there is an option for September. We're looking at May still, and we'll play it by ear.
So Wade, are you in touch with them, or do you want me to do that?
No, I did reach out to them, and they reached back out to me. So
okay, got it. All right. We've already assembled the money, so we have the money available for them.
Yes, great. And then the disc golf is going to go along with that. The yoga in the park, we're still planning that effort.
That actually is starting April 22nd. It's going to start a little bit earlier. We're going to plan for COVID restrictions. We're going to plan with the same circles and do everything we did last time and assume that it's going to be bad and just hope for the best. But we're going to plan just like it was last summer. And that's our thoughts. But that begins April 22nd until it begins the weekend before September 1st, before Labor Day. So we're doing last year we did 10 weeks. This year we're doing, I think, 14 or 15 weeks. So it's actually going to be a really nice longer time, and it's free, and it's going to be on a Thursday at Drexel Lodge.
Now, Sheila, we'll need, regarding the location at Drexel Lodge, we'll need to see with Rich Enale what the soccer and lacrosse groups are up to.
Yes. Well,
Again,
even if we have to,
it was nice to be able to move it to that upper field when we did, because they weren't using it.
right.
But if they are using it, it could get more challenging.
Yeah, no worries. They understand that we have to move wherever,
We can
because
make room. Yeah.
Marlboro Newtown holds the permit to that. So, and remember too, just like last year, we're trying to see for, and we'll have to go through the supervisors as well, is that since we're doing the yoga in the park, we're trying to see if we can get Brookside Park for Jolly Element to do their own classes there again to have for safety, because the new thing with COVID is don't share the air is apparently the new campaign. And it's just promoting you to be outside for those things. So we'll talk with asking about the supervisors for Brookside, but for yoga in the park, we'll do whatever Rich says and make sure we respect the permits of whoever owns the permits.
What time is that, Sheila?
That'll be, I believe it's, I think it was like 5 to 6, but I'll have to check my notes on that, Paul.
Okay.
And we're going to have the flyers and everything. All that information will be shared out.
Got it.
And it's going to be the same thing. We're going to do a rotating schedule. We're going to have different classes like we did last year. We'll have different types of yoga, different types of activities for kids like Zumbini, and just like we did, so that every week is a little different and there's something new. And it's just not yoga. So we have an activity or we called it last year the, summer series, and we're going to kind of do, a longer fun activity series. And again, it's free for the community. So it's a win-win.
How many people, again, Sheila, were in attendance?
We had limits at certain times that we could not go above 25. And then when we got to the end, when we were kind of past that limits, we were getting a lot of people. And what was great is we had always said, look, 25 is the number, because that's the number we were kind of operating with last summer. And it was like first come, first serve. And that's why we saw people always jumping ahead to kind of like get there on time with their mats to get their service. So it was actually kind of well thought out. And this year we're doing it on Thursday instead of Wednesday, because we want to kind of change it up as to who is even accessible, because, everyone's schedule is different. So having a Thursday night will be nice because we'll get different people too.
Yeah.
And listen, it's free for the community. It's a win. It's awesome. But we do need Parks and Rec volunteer, because last year I had to be there, except for one time Wade covered for me, but we always need a representative of Parks and Rec there, because we have to, start things off, introduce them, thank them, make sure everyone stays within the circle, make sure everyone respects the rules, and, be mindful of all the precautions in case, God forbid, we go above, we run into a situation with COVID, we have to keep, and we kept last time, we went well beyond, we did like 15 feet apart, because we want to make sure that we were extremely safe.
So Sheila, part of what Farmers Market wants to do is offer a table on a rotating basis to the different committees. And they want to offer the table to Parks and Recreation EAC, because we're in Bloom Historic Society. And at that time, whoever's the committee that's on the, the community table can sort of let people know what's going on within their committee. And that's a perfect time to, if you have flyers, to start handing out flyers about yoga in the park.
What I'll do, Paul, is I'll make a big poster board, so it will be available at each farmer's market. So that way it doesn't have to be regenerated, and that we can give it to the coordinators. And that way that schedule will be always up.
Wonderful. Perfect.
All right, and I think we discussed the vine removal with the snow in the way now. That's not going to be possible. George is going to fit it in as best he can, and we're
Yeah,
gonna-
and I have to get the markings so that Sheila and her crew can start marking the things that they're thinking of. But yeah, it's all snow right now.
Yeah, and
It looks great right now.
but if we can, George, because I know it is snow, but this is the perfect time before that foliage. I mean, like we're down to 5.5 more weeks before things get, and I have everybody that's going to be the volunteers lined up already. So I want to kind of like,
Yeah, we just need the pink. We need the pink
Yep.
ribbon and the pink paint.
yep. And if you're stuck, dude, call me and I'll go to Home Depot and I'll just take it out of my tax bill. Steve did not answer.
I'm ignoring it.
All right, and then the Arbor Day, I think we did discuss this. It's April 24th, Sheila, you said?
And that's again contingent upon George, because that was the Arbor Day was the week, Earth Day, and May 1st, he might get the plant. So the idea was, do we use up his inventory that he has in the nursery first to give him room for him to get the new grants? And it's up to George too. But something we have to consider also is, as Steve said, if our trees don't count toward our MS4 plan, we want to just, be mindful of that as well. So we have to think of all those things, because if we're going to get credit for the trees, we might as well, have it apply towards something as well.
Okay, so it'll be April 24th then?
That's the target date so far,
Okay,
but
all right.
EAC is going to rule on that again next month in case COVID is an issue. Everyone's going to kind of get a little squeamish. So it's
Okay.
fluid.
Okay. All right, and then the DCVA creek cleanup. Marty Milligan is still going to run the Brookside one. We're going to set up at Greer Park and have other people come there and clean up that park as well, because it's all part of the same watershed. So we've contacted them. They're supporting us. I don't know whether a representative from DCVA will be at our site or split between the two, but we're planned for that. And I think it's April 10th. Yes. And then Bill and I had some discussion last week, and we were wondering, what is the status of the Meadow Preserve access right now, Steve?
Explain to me what you mean by that question.
Is there, can we go down that road? Is there going to be parking access at all, or is it always going to be from the parking lot, the trail? Do we have to walk that trail to get to the Meadow Preserve forever?
Well, currently currently the parking that we have that's available is at Goshen Road at the John West House. That's currently.
Yes.
We are looking at parking somewhere near there, and I'm not 100% sure where that's going to be. That's actually one of the things that George and I were talking about what meeting I'm having tomorrow morning.
Okay. All right. So then we were just wondering about setting up some kind of Meadow Preserve. You had mentioned, using the students from some of the other schools, Episcopal and some of the other schools. So Bill and I were just talking, maybe we could set up some kind of stewardship program where they're going to take care of part of the meadow or get involved with the meadow in some way. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, I think that one of the conversations that we had along the process of doing the Meadow Preserve was that we would hope that it would become an education place for students and would be an opportunity for students to learn. And so as we start converting the meadow, as we start doing the process of taking the meadow from what it is today to making it be a natural meadow, it's going to take some energy. It's going to take some folks getting out there and helping us do that. And it's mostly for the maintaining. Once we get the plants put in, in the beginning, there's a lot of maintaining to make sure that they take hold. So there would be some great opportunities for people to be involved.
And so Sandy sent me an email on the side and said that I think it's her son and daughter. I can't remember. Are actually teachers there. So we have a little bit of an inroad, and one of them, I believe, is a science teacher. So it might just be perfect for us.
Yeah, I would say that I think there was a teacher from the high school and a teacher from Episcopal Academy that were both very interested in helping to have their classes potentially even have, was it an area, George, that they would be involved in, or was it just helping it throughout the park?
I thought it was an area. Like I thought they were gonna, be in a specific portion.
And kind of take it on and be their area to take care of.
Yeah.
That was my understanding too, but I thought maybe I misunderstood.
Were they going to work together or separately?
I think it was going to be two different. I was under the impression it was kind of two different areas that they might each take on an area within the park, and that would be like a school project to maintain that area.
Yeah, that's as I understood it too.
I wonder if Janet Carvanis might be another good resource there as well.
Okay.
All right. And then, trying to build a park system. I just thought it would be a good idea if we, took one park and spent, 5 or 10 minutes just taking a look at what's there and familiarize ourselves with what we have there. And then the existing survey results. So I did link, this is the Pennsylvania Recreation survey. It's pretty in depth. But, the thing I found most remarkable was how many people want trails and walking type features. So it's just something that popped out at me. So I try and add the Meadow Preserve survey portion of the master plan next month and just continue adding surveys. And I guess, does anyone have anything else you want to discuss? Anything that we just already talked about? I'm sorry. So I guess we're good.
Wish you guys were excited about my bats. I don't think any of you were excited about my bats.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I did a phenomenal presentation. I had to research that bloody thing.
We are excited about your bats.
I'm excited about the bats.
Hey, Sheila,
Yes.
Sheila, just to let you know, I put 2 bat boxes up on a silver maple tree in my side yard.
Cool.
And I wrote your name on both of them.
He's throwing darts at them every night.
I do, and I go out and I think you're flying around somewhere.
So he's basically calling me a pest is what he's doing.
No, you're
I think we should leave, you guys.
Listen, Steve, we were just joking the other night that we can't wait till we can get off this bloody Zoom because our parks meetings have been so dull recently because we're all recorded and we're on Zoom. We're going to get back to the real world and we can, say all this shit.
Just so you know that even when we go forward, we're still going to be recorded.
Oh,
Oh no.
no.
That's a sad thing.
So, I mean, you may be in person, but just remember, we're going to be recorded going
Well,
forward.
that's worse. Okay, that's worse.
That's good.
No, Bill, you like our shenanigans, buddy. Bill's not answering.
Hey, I just want to say one thing, folks. I have never been with a better group of people.
Thank you, Peter.
Well,
Yeah.
Wade, you're
This is a good group.
president for life. That's what you are.
That's right.
I don't think so.
He's doing a great job.
Thank
You are. Yeah, man.
I appreciate this group a lot. I mean, not only are you focusing on taking care of our parks, but you're also focusing on making sure that people can really enjoy and use them. It's not just saying that we have a park and it's taken care of, but that it's actually being enjoyed and used, and that you're helping to provide activities for them. So that's really great, and I do appreciate that a lot. I think it helps to improve our township. And it's essential. So thank you for what you do as a group.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hey,
And I'm glad you have fun while you do it.
yeah, we do. Hey, I visit Drexel Lodge Park at least twice a week, and whenever I see people walking through with dogs or just with their kids, there's always a smile on their faces. I mean, we have good parks, folks, and thank you, Steve, and thank you, George, and all those guys who keep them up.
Yep.
Pete and Lou.
And guys, wait till you see Greer Park. I mean, the plans are phenomenal.
Can't
And
wait. Can't wait,
gorgeous.
Sheila.
It's going to be awesome. And the vote's coming in tonight, so we'll see, hopefully. But Wade has worked so hard, and I've gotten down
Everyone
to
has.
two
It's
people,
been-
but it's all good stuff.
Well, be safe, everyone.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Right?
William,
And
thank
thank
you
you.
for joining us.
Thanks,
William,
William.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me tonight.
Thanks a million, William. I'm glad you stuck it out.
Now you have to do your homework.
Yeah.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.